Toronto on August 31st, Alek Manoah number 6, Ross Stripling number 48, Toronto Blue Jays Kevin Gausman number 30 for walks to the bunker before playing their team the Chicago Cubs at the MLB game on August 31, 2022 at Rogers Centre in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. With the Blue Jays heading into the offseason, the club is at the top of the rotation in both Alek Manoah and Kevin Gausman. The question is, what completes the rest of the rotation? José Berríos is coming out of his worst season of his career, posting a 5.23 ERA, a huge leap from the 4.04 ERA he averaged in his first 5 seasons. Despite having his worst year, the 28-year-old Puerto Rican-born pitcher had club quality downs in half of his starts and set a 12-7 win-loss record. He signed at least 4 more seasons with the club, and after that he has a choice of players for 2 additional seasons he can decide after the 2026 season. I expect Berríos to come back next year and be more on par with his performance from last season. If he enters the season as the club's 3rd starter in the rotation, I'm not too worried, but I would love a situation where they get an arm that pushes him back to number 4, and if that's the case it could happen. One of the best rotations in the majors. The 2 names that frighten Blue Jays fans are Mitch White and Yusei Kikuchi, because these 2 would be in rotation if the season started today. 2 years remain on Kikuchi's 3-year, $36 million deal that he signed last season, but the contract is up front and he's only left with $10 million in debt each of the next 2 seasons. Kikuchi was removed from rotation in late August after posting a 5.38 ERA in his first 23 games. After the change, he got off to a slightly better start, including having an ERA of 3.95 in his remaining 9 games and being closed for 4 straight games to finish the season. I wasn't comfortable signing with the team last year, and I'm even less optimistic about it being in rotation next year. Ideally, they could find a trade-in for him, but I doubt that will ever happen, so hopefully, the Blue Jays will get Ross Stripling to play a similar role to start this season and fill it as a long relief with the occasional startup opportunity. A game. Looking at the ideal rotation for the Blue Jays in 2023. Unlike Kikuchi, I'm much more optimistic for White, which the Blue Jays acquired at trade time. The club has control of the 6 feet 3 inches right-handed shooter until the end of the 2027 season, and is not even eligible for arbitration until 2 more seasons have passed. White spent the first part of the season back and forth in rotation and bullpen, as well as having ups and downs in the Dodgers organization. When the club took him at trade time, the rotation was to fill behind the spot, but he was completely ineffective except for his 2nd and 3rd starts with the club. I still see a lot of positives in White, but he needs to be in excellent condition throughout the season and can't start the season in rotation. As of now, the Blue Jays hold the 1-2 role in Gausman and Manoah's starting rotation, and Berríos ideally have 3 to 4 starts. I'm not 100% sure about Kikuchi or White starting games, and I'm definitely not sure of either, so the club needs to bring at least 1, preferably 2 arms into the rotation. The first shooter I'm after is someone they can talk to anyway, and that's Stripling. Most of this #Blue Jays team will be returning next season, but Ross Stripling may not. After a career year, he will enter the free agency. Talk about your future. It's exciting to be a part of the Jays, and the future is obviously very bright. So I would definitely love to be a part of it. Mitch Bannon, October 9, 2022. The soon-to-be 33-year-old has likely been the club's savior this season, after dominating the rotation not only when they needed someone but also when called. Stripling is well known to have excelled as a starter this year, as he set a record 9-3 after switching to full-time rotation in early June, and has a 2.64 ERA over 19 starts, which is over 102.1 hits. The 2020 trade date purchase has never made much money in his career, as he just came out of his peak earnings season of just under $3.8 million and will seek cash. The unfortunate thing about Stripling is its age, and not having a really good track record. The Athletic's Keith Lowe recently wrote an article describing Stripling as the 28th best free agent on the market, and would offer him a 2-year contract at $12 million a year, similar to the deal I outlined in October. I was going to deal with him, except that I was offered an additional 3rd season. If the club can get Stripling back with a Blue Jays jersey, that will help split a 3-4 role with the Berríos, at least until they find another upper arm to push both men back. The Blue Jays need to be big this season and try to put former two-time Cy Young Award winner Jacob deGrom into a strong rotation. The final move is huge, and I'm swinging big. The club not only knocks on the door of the AL East pennant, but is truly a World Series contender. I'm taking my chances and taking the truck back to Jacob deGrom, who will soon be 35 and badly injured. The club has spent $72 million on Kikuchi and Tanner Roark over the past few seasons, so it should be in management's minds to give a proven wand like deGrom about $130 million on a 3-year deal. deGrom has only started 26 games in the last 2 seasons, but being healthy is an absolute subordinate. Injuries kept him out of the Mets starting rotation from early July 2021 until last August, but he's only been able to make 11 starts this season, allowing more than 3 runs once and 7 quality starts, including double kicks. Made 5 times figures. The 2-time Cy Young Award winner has been with the New York Mets since he was drafted in the 9th round in 2010, so it can be hard to get him to leave, but convincing him to come north of the border, I would see what I could do for it. My ideal rotation would be deGrom, Manoah, Gausman, Berríos, and Stripling, unless of course the club somehow gets Shohei Ohtani, but that's a completely different article on how you do it. All of this envisions the perfect scenario for the club, but until the players start signing contracts, you can hope.